Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Ruth Nelson, creator of the 24/7 virtual RNN Sports Gym, and I'm excited to be your host for this month's edition of the In the Know series. It's always a pleasure to bring our community together to learn, connect, and grow. Joining me as co-host is David Delosier. Tonight kicks off our 27th series, Why All the Buzz About RNN Sports Gym. Volleyball is more than just a game. It's a spark that lights up communities, inspires young athletes, and builds confidence on and off the court. Today, we're diving into the heart of one of the most exciting youth initiatives in the sport, designed to introduce players the joy of volleyball while giving coaches the tools to develop talent for years to come. From the small local gyms to major regional events, this program is transforming how young athletes experience the game and how communities come together around it. Joining us is the USAV volleyball coordinator of Try Volleyball, the driving force behind this innovative initiative. We'll hear about the program's growth, the athletes and the community's impact, and the vision for 2026 and beyond. Along the way, she'll share stories from clinics, memorable moments on and off the court, and insights into how volleyball continues to empower the next generation of players. Get ready to explore the game through her perspective, where skill, teamwork, and fun all collide in a truly unforgettable way. All right, joining us is Chrissy Elder, back for our part 2 show. Welcome, Chrissy.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, you just came out of practice, we know.
Yes, and I apologize. My pup hasn't seen me all day, so she's like she's
She's
like massively, yeah, wanting attention, and I'm like, stop, we're good.
she's one of your team members. All right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
before David starts, his questions with you, we're going to go through just a little bit of our sizzle that kind of shows all of our viewers some of the things of your journey, and took some action shots of Try Volleyball and, of course, how people can contact tryvolleyball.org and how they can register and go on the page. And we're excited to hear more about Try Volleyball and your experiences. And now that you're coaching a 13 team, now you can implement all your things and find out how good a teacher you are.
Yeah.
All
I know
righty.
it's like the ultimate test, really.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, David, let's get going.
Well, Chrissy, it's good to see you again. Welcome back to the show. First question, can you tell us the story of how the Try Volleyball initiative started and what inspired USA Volleyball to launch it?
You know it's an I don't even know if it's funny or interesting. I was gonna say it's funny, and then I was gonna say it's interesting. I don't know that it's either one. Try Volleyball truly started as a membership type. So that's how it landed in our laps in membership. The regions wanted an easier avenue for new families to get in than our current membership process because our membership process is very detailed because we have regions, we have USAV sanctioning, like there's a lot that goes with the physical membership process that we didn't want to send brand new families through just to try the sport out.
Uh-huh.
So it truly was driven by the regions to get an easier avenue to let some families in just to try it out. They wanted a low to no cost option.
Uh-huh.
And then it landed in my lap and I was like, I'm until somebody stops me, I'm gonna run with this. Like I'm just gonna do it. And that's why it's where it's at now, honestly, because they've let me just kind of run, and it's been really exciting. But it truly just started as an easy avenue for families to get started.
Okay, awesome.
Excellent.
Now, thinking about all the clinics and events so far, what's a moment or story that really highlights the impact on young athletes and their families?
Um, you know, I had one in mind, but now I have two.
Okay.
The first one that popped into my mind was I had a club director who just sent me a random email that included a picture. And it was from a little girl that her mom made her go to a try volleyball clinic. And the picture like legitimately detailed like how much fun she had and how happy she was to a point where like her future was USA Volleyball.
Ah,
And like for me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is full circle because like this is a little girl that I like saw myself in. Because the very
ah,
first clinic I went to, I came home and I was like, I want to be a coach, I want to play volleyball, I want to do all this stuff. And so like for me, that was a huge impact. And as soon as you asked the question live, in my head, my current team popped into my head because
ah,
I actually got to know this club director through Try Volleyball. She did
ah,
not have any clue that I was moving to Manhattan, Kansas.
uh-huh.
And she ran a Try clinic. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be there. I'd like to help. I don't know when I'm going to be there and I don't know what capacity it'll be. And it just happened to be that I was able to move in time to like start season with them and coach a team. So, like for me, a true impact has been getting to know some of these club directors and actually getting to work for them now after being a
Ah,
club director and not wanting any part of that anymore,
yeah.
and just getting to coach for them. Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Wow. So, how many athletes have participated and how have these programs grown year over year? Do you have any projections or exciting plans for 2026?
Yeah, so we've had a little over 10,000 athletes that have participated in the last 2 years.
Okay.
That does not include the amount of clubs that we have, because quite honestly, we had about I think a little over 100 clubs last year participate in, maybe like a little over 120 this year. Some of them ran multiple clinics, but we've had a ton of coaches and club directors volunteer as well.
Ah,
It's hard to get an exact number of how many kiddos
sure.
that we've had participate just because our registration system, like this year, we know we've had a little over 4,000, but some of them attended 2 to 3 clinics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've had a lot of kiddos in gyms testing out each club and their style and what
Ah,
they enjoy about volleyball. So that's been really exciting. For 2026, quite honestly, I would like to get to 10,000 athletes just in 2026. We want
ah,
to try to run a spring clinic,
okay.
which we've not done before,
You did
mainly
summer
because,
only?
huh?
You did summer only
We
before?
we have because just because of the way it's fallen, it's
Yeah.
a lot of workload
Yeah.
for just one person. But quite honestly, we've gotten it down pretty well to a science.
Uh-huh.
Um, and we have a lot of clubs that just are unable to do stuff in August. And
Yeah.
so we're hoping if we open it up maybe in April and in August,
Yeah.
that we'll have quite a bit more participants.
Okay, so did Try Volleyball start in 23 or 24?
It started in 2024.
Okay, so this right here, the numbers are so for 2025, you're already over 10,000, so you've already over 4,000 more just this year, and you only did it predominantly one. It said 32 regions. Are these repeated regions? Are you finding that that's what's happening?
Yeah, so the funny thing is when I proposed this to the regions, my goal was all 40 and they giggled and
Okay.
rightfully so. It's hard to get 40
Oh yeah,
people to help implement something this large, right?
right.
Um and so most of them were like, if we get 20, that'll be a success. And when we got 32, I was like, listen up. Like, so it wound up the first year pretty big. The second this second year in 2025, I think we had 30 regions. And
Okay.
so we were a little under last year, but quite honestly, it's because some of the regions were still in season. And in August, like they're starting to get into high school season and they weren't able to do it.
Yeah. Don't you feel that, in time, you're going to have probably every region tested, and then you're going to have some regions just really gung ho. You're going to have some regions that will kind of teeter on it, maybe once a year. And then you're going to have some people that really just aren't going to do it because they feel they don't have the manpower to do it.
Yeah, and quite honestly, that's what I've been trying to plug big time at USA Volleyball is letting me kind of be their manpower so
Yeah.
that there's not an excuse because the regions uphold a lot of our workload. They truly do. And so
Uh-huh.
in this situation, if I can reach out to 1 or 2 clubs, willing to do that. If I need to reach out to more, I'll do
Yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
And so that's the next progress for us for sure is for USAV to take a little bit of that workload over for them so that we can get some more clubs involved.
Well, it's always what they've always said. You've got movers and shakers, and you need people that are shaking the tree, but you need the ones that are going to move the tree. And you need everybody because some people aren't worker bees. And anytime
Right.
you're dealing with volunteer organization, volunteers, you don't want to burn them out because they always are your best ones. But are there any regions or communities that have hosted these that really stand out to you that just bought into this?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for both years, honestly, the Carolina region has stood out big
Oh,
time. Like
okay.
they've hosted quite a few clinics. There's been a lot of clubs that have participated in it. The first year in Florida, we had a ton of YMCA's that bought in.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and we were able to actually send some coaches the first year.
Yeah.
The second year, they had a leadership change, which we benefited from. Steve Bishop actually wound up on the USAV national side.
Sure.
And so the YMCA's, we didn't get as much involved this year, which that was tough for me. But the plan is to get them back. So having them on board is huge, I think, because especially in this age group, they do a lot of work for
Oh,
this demographic. Yeah.
oh, the leagues
Yeah.
they do. I mean, whether
Yep.
the kids ever learn anything besides serve and let it drop and serve and let it drop. I mean, to me,
Yep.
that in itself, along with the Jewish community centers and each of these. I mean, I just sit and I go, oh my God, look at all the leagues because everybody always sends, oh Ruth, tell me which of the new balls should use. I'm doing this league and I'm doing this right now. What are the best things? So you know, it was curious because Carolina, interesting because you look at you look at the growth of the areas in the country that have the numbers in participations. It's interesting to see, but I would that Carolina wouldn't have been the place that I would have thought. Now, Florida, I would have guessed that, but I
Sure.
would think too, the beach side would have been huge in Florida.
We had a couple of beach
Yeah,
last year we had a couple of beach clinics
yeah,
in Florida, maybe one in Carolina, a couple on the West Coast. This year I wish we would have had more beach clinics.
yeah,
That's a huge emerging spot for us.
yeah,
One of the things we did have was the pro teams. Like
yeah,
that was exciting. Yeah, we had a few pro teams. San Diego Mojo sold
yeah.
out within an hour of adding their clinic. It was
Wow.
amazing. Yeah,
That's
they wound up adding two last year because of it. Yeah.
wow.
Well, you know what? Hey, mom's got to come pay to bring the little kid. I mean, it's no different than college volleyball. All
Yep.
right, David, you get to have a few questions here.
All right. Well, let's dive into the coaching side of it a little bit. When you're coaching young athletes, what's one story that shows how you balance skill, building, fun, and competition?
Honestly, at the developmental level, I think the intention has to be to add fun in everything you do, or at least show them how they get joy out of all of this stuff, right?
Mhm.
Because some of it's not fun, but there should still be joy, right? So, like for me, I try to get them to find the joy in the skill building. To find the joy in the progression, like how do we get better?
Uh-huh.
And then hopefully we're incorporating fun, honestly. And then on the competition side, they have to, and this is a life skill, I think, find the joy in the test and the challenge, right? Because we just did it. We just did it tonight. We are technically the premier team, and
Okay.
we played the local team.
Okay.
And the girls were like, we were losing like 20-15, and the girls were like, whoa, this is weird. And I'm like, y'all, they don't want to lose to you. Like, so they were actually trying to figure out, like, oh, this is what competing, this is what a test looks like. We actually wound up winning 25-23 both sets we played. So I was
Uh-huh.
proud of them because they figured out like how do we find the joy and the fun in competing? It's
Uh-huh.
very different than the skill building. But I think if you don't have the fun in it at the developmental age, it's just not worth it for them. It's just not.
Well, it's interesting. I always ask those 10 and unders. I said, do you enjoy the ball being served over the net and your friends just let it drop? And they go, no. And I said, then what are you supposed to do? And their first reaction, of course, is, oh, I'll go take it. I go, no, that's not your ball. You know? So when you really think about your fun, you are correct. But everyone thinks winning is fun. Well, winning usually is fun if you're on the court.
Yeah.
They haven't figured that out, that, sometimes you should have fun when your team is being successful. But it's interesting that you mention that, because when I'm dealing with 5 and 6-year-olds, getting a ball that's up to their parent or to their partner, that is totally exciting
Mm-hmm.
in itself. And someone says, Ruth, they get really excited about one ball up. I said, oh yeah, because they have a hard time getting to the ball.
Yep.
All right, David.
All right, now I know you mentioned one story, but is there a time that you can share about a player or team completely surprised you, whether with determination, creativity, or a breakthrough moment?
Yeah, and the interesting part of it is like I think I could share a lot with you, but the one that stands out and honestly sticks with me through my career is a season at UCCS, which is it was my former college team.
Uh-huh.
So you wouldn't think that it's a developmental team. But we were kind of in a developmental year,
Uh-huh.
and we were really talented and not succeeding. And it was just like dumbfounding to me, like, what is happening here? And our chaplain came to me, which is like she played volleyball, so she had some idea, but still a very odd person to bring like coaching advice, right?
Mhm.
But our chaplain came and she was like, "You're not speaking to them very well," and not like I was being
Right,
derogatory or
right, right.
anything. She was just like mentioning like I wasn't speaking the language they each needed. So oddly enough, we incorporated the 5 love languages
Uh-huh.
because it's really like a communication thing, right? So
Sure.
like quality time, if you're spending quality time with somebody, they'll
Uh-huh.
be more engaged and more involved and more um honestly with this team more successful.
Yeah.
And so we wound up building a like team love language, like communication
Yeah.
style
Uh-huh.
thing. Um, and we had the most successful season that I've ever had at UCCS in 10 years. Um, and it just like it showed me that it's not just about skill, right? Like
Sure.
it's not if we're working on development, we're working on cohesion, we're working on skill, we're working on relationships. And as soon as I learned how to speak to them and our relationships got better,
Uh-huh.
I had an All-American. I had almost an academic All-American, which is huge in the RMAC.
Sure.
Um, it just was one of those things that I was like, oh my gosh, I like they weren't hearing me, and I like there's no way I was actually communicating to them. And it was real like it was career changing, honestly.
Well, I
Mm.
can tell you 15 years ago, 2 players of the 8 that I trained for like 8 years, they said to me, Coach Ruth, you know what? Sometimes what you say to me doesn't even make sense to us. And I thought, okay, because I thought it made a lot of sense to me, but it's the way, and knowing that you always have to learn. And that's why I'm saying when you're dealing with 5-year-olds, if you can't communicate with them, it makes you so much better coach at the upper age group than it
Hmm.
is anything else. So, what's a lesson you've learned from coaching that changed the way you approach your youth development? And is there a specific story behind it? That's the story? Is that the one?
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually like this the story I just told.
Okay.
Because I think you hit it just right on the head. With my 13-year-olds, I bring that back. Like it has helped me understand that if I don't build that relationship or I don't learn their communication style or what they need as a person or a player,
Uh huh.
that I'm not going to reach them. And so it's really stuck with me that like once you get to build those relationships and learn are they a quality time person? Are they, and when I say gifts, I mean like are they like I was thinking about you, like I saw this pencil that has SpongeBob on it or something
Okay, I
silly,
got
right?
you.
Like little things like that, they wind up actually like it triggers their like desire to listen and be
Yeah.
heard and do things for you. And quite honestly, that's the story that stuck with me the most. And I use that with my 13-year-olds and younger all the
Uh-huh.
time.
All right. David, you go ahead with your question.
All right. How do you help young athletes develop leadership and teamwork through volleyball? And is there a story that illustrates that in action?
Um, I think it's hard at certain levels to purposefully develop leadership. I think that you have to work them through scenarios so that they're learning it in situations that they um almost that they don't know that they're learning it.
Mhm.
This last year, so when I was in Colorado, and I was a club director, I was the master coach for two of our 14s teams. We had younger coaches, and they're amazing coaches, but they were younger, so it was kind of a dual purpose: get to work with the 14-year-olds, but also get to work with the coaches that we knew would be good that needed a little bit of help. And my main purpose, once the coaches got on track with skill building,
Mhm.
was to do leadership training. And I actually wound up building a workbook for them. And it was two different teams, and both teams needed two very different things. But we worked through a workbook, and I created it in Canva, and a
Ah,
lot of the things were geared to like the things that they're going through. So social media and
uh-huh.
cell phones and stuff like that that they could actually relate to, that I have learned in my past through leadership training. I just swapped it over to their kind of cultural style now.
Okay,
Ah.
very
Before
cool.
you go on in your last question, this is called the Volleyball Recruits Journal. And it is written by Matt Rogers, who spent 8 years at NSCA and now is out on his own. And he comes up with all kinds of questions like, how would you describe your communication style? And you have to write it down. What are the 3 goals of the week? What mindset do you think into practices? What are your biggest distractions and how do you manage them? So you think about that. If you don't journal, there you're missing something because it's no different than in the classroom.
Yep.
So what you're saying is you must write it down because I'll say to an 8-year-old, when you get in the car, you've got your notebook. Write down the things that you remembered that you did great today and write down the things that you need to practice before you come back the next session because you can't expect parents to know that. The
Nope.
kids
And
are the ones.
well, and it's scientifically proven, and this is the hard part with, I think, this generation. When you write it, you start to remember it. And they do so much typing that it's really hard for it to start to become brain memory, right? Like muscle
Uh-huh.
memory.
Right,
If they don't have a notebook and they don't write it down. And that's the same way with leadership training. We did drawings, we did all
right.
kinds of stuff. And they're, coach, we're not great drawers. That's fine. Like nobody else is going to see this. It's in your notebook. Like as long as you know what it looks like.
That's and you can share with whomever you want, whether it's your coach or your teammates or your friends, or if you want to with your parents, or you might want to read something out of it to your parents
Yep.
because they might better understand how you're feeling.
Oh, yeah.
All right, David, you got the last question.
All right, now looking ahead, what's a vision or dream you have for the future of youth volleyball programs, and how do you hope to see them evolve across the country?
Um, you know, I just read on LinkedIn more stuff about the emergence of sports schools.
Oh yeah,
And I I just like I feel especially with the younger ages, we've got to infuse more fun because the more we start getting into like if we're going to a sports school, we're professionals.
right,
My incoming sophomore year in college, we went to China,
right,
and we traveled for 2 weeks, and we traveled to their sports schools,
yeah,
and it was a good life for them. Like they had a great life if they went to the sports schools. They learned that like there was a lot for them there.
right,
But they looked at us and they said, "You're on holiday and you're here playing," because for them, like holiday meant family and going
right,
home and
right.
resting. And if we're building sports schools the same way at the youngest ages, we have got to make sure that they're having fun doing it and they know why they're doing it.
Yeah.
I truly believe that sport is a great catalyst for any person's future. I think that it builds great leaders, great competitors. I think that it does all of that stuff. But if we're not finding out the ones that are joyful in it and the ones that are excited to do it and the ones that are not necessarily good at doing it, but want to be there,
Yeah.
then those sports schools are going to fail because all parents think that they want their kid to go pro, but if they're not enjoying it, they're not going to do it. They're not going to have fun doing it, and they're not going to want to stay doing it.
Right.
So I really hope that we can start at the youngest ages of encouraging them that if it's not fun, you speak up, and how do we make it fun so that they don't have to speak up as often.
Right. And the fact is this, if you start something, you need to finish it. You're not going to quit it unless there's a reason to quit it. Okay.
Right?
So
Yeah.
if you could create a dream volleyball clinic anywhere in the world, what would it look like and who would you invite?
Oh man. Oddly enough, I'm gonna say that like there's so many people I could list, like name drop here and there.
Yeah.
But if I could create, this is gonna be awesome. And these two people have no clue that I would even remotely say this. But I'm gonna send it to them now. I'm gonna send them this podcast so they can hear it. My very first coach, I went to a clinic in Parkville, Missouri at Park College, now Park University.
Okay.
And he is Nigerian. Nobody understood him. I was 8 years old.
Okay.
Don't know how I understood him, but I did. And I went home and I said, Mom, I want to play for this guy and I want to be a coach. And he actually wound up my club coach and then eventually my college coach. So I would love to have a clinic with him and then add my high school coach in, because when we did high school clinics as varsity athletes,
Okay.
I would beg her not to put me with the littles, like beg her, like don't do that. Don't put me with the littles. Don't let me do it. And now like that's all I'm doing is begging to be with the littles. And so I would love to have her with that clinic just so she could see like where my career and my passion has ended up, because it is on the other side of the spectrum.
Okay. So if you have a young athlete come up to you and ask, what's the most important secret to loving volleyball?
Man, that's a tough one. I would say live in the moment every single play.
Okay.
I would also say stop saying sorry.
Oh,
Like stop apologizing. Because like this generation,
my bad. My bad.
yeah, they don't get to love it because like we pass a ball 2 feet off target and it's like I'm sorry. For what? What are we sorry for?
Hey, listen, we were brought up when you say you're sorry, you're not supposed to do it again. All right. What valuable advice would you give to an aspiring young coach who wants to teach ages 10 and under?
Do it. Just do it.
Okay.
So I honestly would say find a mentor.
Okay.
But don't shy away from it. I think that there's so many coaches that will say, but like, oh, I did this like with children in general. Like I didn't want to have my own children because I was like, what if I break them? and they that's what coaches will say, like, well, what if I mess up? Like, what if I teach? You're not teaching them the wrong thing. If they're smiling when they leave our gym and they want to come back, you're fine. Like you're fine. So that's the advice I would give them is do it and find a mentor and wholeheartedly attack it.
All right. So where do our viewers find out how to host a Try Volleyball clinic or attend one?
Currently right now at tryvolleyball.org.
Okay.
At the bottom of that page, there is a registration to sign up for future newsletters.
Okay. That's great. All right. So thank you to our co-host, David. He continues to build an excellent foundation with his club team and demonstrates a true passion for learning and growth. If you know somebody teaching kids 10 and under, direct them to our 24/7 virtual gym at rnnsportsgym.com. They'll find various educational videos, and by becoming members, they gain access to our exclusive RNN Sports Gym private group, and it's free to register. Be sure to like and share our public pages on Facebook, Instagram, and X with friends, teachers, and youth coaches. Our innovative approach to teaching kids and under is unbelievable. A quick reminder, if you're interested in attending are hosting a 2026 Go Kids Youth Sports Skills Trainer certification. Jump over to our GoKidsYouthSports.com, special pricing and additional benefits. Register will begin in January for our 2026 Go Kids Skills Trainer certification course, July 18th and 19th, right here in Dallas, in conjunction with the Art of Coaching Clinic. As a matter of fact, we did one in 2018 also in San Antonio. So mark your calendars. We can't wait to see you January 7th at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for our next In the Know series with another special guest. And again, Chrissy, thank you for sharing your journey. And again, I look forward to seeing you. And David is coming to Kansas City because he's going to help me with my presentation. And I will send you the link of the location on Tuesday for training. But we're just excited, and we look forward to having you back on in 2026. And we hope you've enjoyed. Do you want to give a parting word to our viewers?
Well, any of the viewers that are interested in running a Try clinic, please do it. We just today we're talking about all the new giveaways that we're trying to get for the clubs and for the kiddos. We are really trying to grow this to a point where it helps our clubs, but also it just gets more kids involved with volleyball. So if you're even remotely interested, reach out, host one, just see how it is, have some fun with these kids, inspire them, right? Like you never know how many kiddos are excited to play volleyball just because they walked into your gym.
Amen on that. David, you want give?
Chrissy, I just really appreciate you coming back on and sharing your story, because there are a lot of things that I know I personally have learned from you sharing and your insights from the littles all the way up to college. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us.
Excellent. All right. Thank you both.
Feet hit the ground like a thunderclap. The sky's on fire, but we're not looking back. Step by step, we're carving our track. The air hums loud with a roaring sound. Every heartbeat shaking the ground. This is the walk of victory. Hey, hey, marching on, we'll seize the day. Hey, hands up high, voices say we've won, right? One, hooray, hooray, hooray. Whoa, 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 right, 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 right. Whoa, whoa, one, right, one, hooray, hooray. The road bends wild, but we stay in tune. Our shadows stretch beneath the moon. Every mile we conquer feels like June. The world leans in to watch us rise. A sea of stars in our fearless eyes.